Hi friends, this is Miss Anastasia with NOR Neighborhood Place. Welcome to Spinning Tales. Today we are going to read the book Halloween Good Night. Ooh, look at that spooky haunted house. When day turns to night with stars overhead, all mamas and papas tuck their kids into bed. But if you were a monster on Halloween night, how would you wish your mama and papa good night? If you were a werewolf on the moor's muck and mire, near an old gypsy cart and a smoldering fire, with a full yellow moon shining its ghastly moonlight, how would you tell your hairy papa good night? Yowl, yowl. So they're roaring at each other to say good night. If you were a creature in the dark black lagoon, snug in your swamp neath a watery moon, gurgling bubbles as you snuggle in tight, how would you tell your scaly mommy good night? Glug, 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 glug. So that's how they say good night. If you were a mummy in a sarcophagus bed, wrapped up in linen from your toes to your head, what would you say in the orange torchlight? How would you wish your mummy good night? And I don't know how to say this one, so you guys are gonna have to use your imagination. If you were a skeleton in a graveyard of stones, clacking and rattling all your dry, bleached out bones, yawning a yawn in the ivory moonlight, how would you tell your bony daddy good night? Clickety, clackety, clack, clack, clickety, clackety, clack, clack. Look, they're reading a story just like us. If you were a ghost haunting a castle and moat, rattling thick chains making underpants float, when you stopped all your moaning and screeching in fright, how would you tell your phantom papa good night? Boo, 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 boo. Look, this daddy's wearing underwear. That's so silly. If you were a witch with a bubbling brew of frog hairs and worm feet and the tongue from a shoe, when this foul-smelling potion is seasoned just right, how do you tell your black kitty good night? Hee 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 hee, hee 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 hee. If you were a vampire in your box in the tomb, as your papa the bat flaps his wings round the room, before he flies off to find someone to bite, how would you tell your sharp-fanged papa good night? Screech, 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 screech. If you were an alien in a spaceship from Mars, exploring some galaxies, planets, and stars, snug in your sleep tube, traveling faster than light, how would you tell your Martian mommy good night? Oh, here's another one. I wonder what that says. Across the whole world, monsters short, thin, and round, in castles, lagoons, and deep underground, tuck their kids into bed and pull the blankets up tight. So how do you tell your mama and papa good night? And then look, here's a bunch of languages of how to say good night. So you can think, how would I say good night to my mommy and dad? Okay, friends, for our project today, Miss Jackie is going to come and help us. We are going to make thumbprint skeletons. So it looks like the little bony skeletons that we saw in our book. So for this project, you're going to need a black piece of paper. You will need 6 Q-tips, white paint, liquid Elmer's glue, something to put your paint in. I'm just using cupcake liners, a pair of scissors, and a Sharpie. So while I am putting my thumbprints for the skeleton heads, Miss Jackie is going to cut the Q-tips for us. So the Q-tips you will cut at the end and again at the other end. You will want to ask your parents for help because the Q-tip is a little bit thick, so it's kind of hard to cut. The middle is going to be for the back, but each side is going to be for the arms and legs. So in the cupcake liner, I'm going to squeeze a little bit of white paint. And on your paper, you're going to just take your thumb, put it into the white paint, and then we're going to touch on here as many times as you want. I'm just gonna do 3 skeletons. So I'm just gonna touch the paper 3 times to make the skeleton's head. So after we do the skeleton's head, you are going to use the Elmer's glue, and I just trace out the outline of the body. So I put a line down the middle for their back, and then one on each side for their arms and on the bottom for their legs. Thank you, Miss Jackie, for cutting the Q-tips for me. And then we're going to add the pieces of the Q-tip. So the backs are the long little sticks off the middle of the Q-tip, so it looks like this. You're just gonna lay those onto the backs. If you wanna help me put some on, Miss Jackie. So we're gonna put the backs into the middle. And then the legs are the pieces that have the cotton ball. So these are the legs and the arms. You'll just stick it with the cotton facing the bottom or facing out away from the back. So each one looks like it has little skeleton bones. And then after your paint is dry, you're just gonna add a little skeleton face. I'm not gonna add mine today because my paint is still wet, but I can show you what it looks like on my sample. So I just used the Sharpie and I just made 2 little circles for the eyes, and I made a circle for the mouth so it looks like it's saying boo, like a ghost. You can add as many skeletons as you want on here, and you can make their faces smiley faces if that's what you guys would like. Thank you so much for joining us for Spinning Tales, and we'll see you next time.